Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of my new attempt to make a little game. This time it's going to be in the Unreal Engine. If you like this kind of content, be sure to hit subscribe, ding that bell so you don't miss the next episode. And as you can see from the first episode, things escalated rather quickly. As this week I've been getting into the interface building side of the Unreal Engine and learning how to build a little menu. And that's basically what building this game is kind of about. I'm simply trying to learn how to be creative within the Unreal Engine, have a bit of fun in my spare time. And what you're looking at right here is basically what you'll be looking at for some time, even though I have to admit the main character is looking rather cool already, of course. But then I'm biased. This is going to be a pretty simple prototype, and I've given myself about a month left to see if I can put it together, to see if I can learn quick enough to basically get about 10 levels going, more or less. It's going to be nothing more but pushing blocks around and seeing if I can get some basic interaction up and running. This week is really about the menu and seeing if I can get some buttons going, and well, we ran into some problems. But first, let me get you up to speed with how I finished up last week's building levels and get that guy pushing those blocks. As you can see, I have some strips here on the floor. They are to prevent the boxes from being pushed beyond a certain point, because that's an easy way out. You have to go this way. There's a way to push this box and this box in, and then you can't get them back down again. I need a reset button for the level. Don't know how to do that yet. And this is a bit, I don't like this. I think this block here shouldn't be there. But again, none of this is really important. What is important is that I managed to do this. See how fast that loads? Ta-da! I'm in level 2. Now, there should be some fanfare, some confetti, some sparkles, but that's a lesson for another day. For now, I have... This is actually not the same level. This is actually a copy of the first level, and then I added this whole new section next to it. But I suppose we could have a little bit more of a difference. Actually, I think, I mean, these levels appear to be so small that I don't really need to make a new level. Just continue on the same map. But for the sake of experience, it falls down, I can walk across. I made this block a little bigger, so I'm not sure if it'll fit in this hole over here. I don't think so. But I can. No. Now I can't get to the exit. Let's try that again. Oh, another thing I noticed is that if I rotate the start level, start game gadget, it also rotates the controls for my character. So left would be up or something like that. Don't know why that is. Probably has something to do with vectors and other things that I didn't set up properly. I've learned that I can set collision boxes for these boxes so that only if I hit it in the middle will I be able to push it. But for now, this works just fine. Okay, moment of truth. Let's push this one in. The collision box tutorial I found is of course about Oh, I'm gonna fall in again, aren't I? Oh, got it. About animating the character, but that's all flare that can wait. Yes, I made it. So I haven't got an actual level 3. Well, I do, but I mean, it was basically over here. I changed some things around. So I turned it to night to make sure that it's obvious there's a difference. And that is how we started last week. We managed to build a couple of levels, and using some very simple nodes in the level blueprint, we managed to connect them by building our first little, I want to call it gadget, because now I'm looking at the interface builder, and that is a widget. But basically we built an object that we build a blueprint for. We put in a mesh, we put in not a hot zone, but like, what do you call it? It's basically a see-through cube. And when it overlaps with the player, then it executes its little code. Now, I decided to move into the menu because I wanted, after all that work, getting that up and running, I just wanted to do something a bit different. And I also wanted to make sure that it pushed the game forward towards the goal. So I got into some tutorials building menus, and that led from one thing to another. The first two menus were, well, they failed basically. The menus worked up to a point, but I couldn't, basically I couldn't get the gamepad controls to work. So I started over and I built this one. I have to say, I kind of felt right at home once I had a look around. It very much reminded me of Interface Builder and Xcode for building Apple iOS apps. So a lot of those skills I learned, I was working out for the past couple of months. As much as I learned to hate Interface Builder and Xcode, yeah, they transferred well. Now, I got a little carried away building this menu, because once I had the gamepad controls up and running, to speed things up, I basically copied the starting level, which is like a separate level without an actual level. It's just a blank canvas. I basically copied the widget and started moving buttons around, and I had this idea to build an in-game menu, but bypassing the pause section. Like there's this, well, it's kind of a complicated thing where basically you pause the game, and that conflicted with my second attempt at a menu. So I figured I could just hide the menu, and then when you push certain buttons, it unhides. So it's always on screen basically. And you can always interact with it, but only when it's visible will it allow you to actually execute certain commands. And then I ran into a huge problem. Basically, I kind of forgot all the good practices of code that I had learned in the last couple of months. So instead of keeping everything neatly organized in like an MVC, like a model view controller paradigm, I just went ahead and dumped all of the code in a single file and started connecting it like crazy. And it basically turned into what I now learned is spaghetti code, as you're about to see. Here it is. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. Right? Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Unfortunately, once I had the ball rolling with some further menu experiments, that totally worked. That totally worked. Yeah, at some point Unreal Engine just suffered a crash of some sorts. It started giving me console logs of errors that I managed to fix, and unfortunately after that nothing worked anymore. So a whole day of work was just lost, and I had to face some tough choices, like, am I going to attempt to rebuild this menu again and spend another whole day, or am I just gonna let go, do something completely different for a bit, and just attempt to try a completely different aspect of something that I have to get up running in order to finish this prototype in the month or so that I have left. And that's what I decided to do. Look around, see if I can borrow some functionality from somewhere else, and that led me to this. Click on the screen, and it is compatible with the controller. Hello everyone, I am trying out the 3D platformer kit. It is an item on the Unreal Engine marketplace, and as I was checking out the November 2022 monthly freebies, if you're interested in this 3D platformer kit yourself, this is the page and the creator. I'll post a link down below. I thought I'd have a go with this one. Oh, not placing is poor. Let's see if they come back. Yes. I'm not very good at this. I think the placing of these platforms is can do a little tweaking. Oh. Spikes and hearts. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, I'm back. Point system works. Hearts go up. I like the sound effect. Very Kid Icarus. Camera needs work. Positioning of platforms. But there's some very basic functionality here that I'm keen to get into my own game, and I'm also keen to have a comparison with the Udemy course that I got. So the Udemy course is basically building a little platformer game, and I think this will, it's nice to have a separate example, especially because there's so many different ways to do the same thing. Okay, so in here, no gamepad controls. These red things are the kill zones, I take it. Alright, so let's start tweaking some of these platforms, move things around a bit. You know, just mess around, see what we can come up with, and see how this all fits together. Let's organize everything into folders. That always helps. I always get lost in this list of items that are in your level. Then in the content folder, we're going to check out the third person first, see what they've got going here. Look at that. That's the checkpoint with the flags. Very cool. In the viewport, you can probably see the little flag itself and then replace it with something of your own. Let's first change the camera position in the viewport of the third person template. You can move that around pretty easily. Change the field of view. Change the lighting a bit around. Give it some nice shadows in some areas. It is a 3D game after all, no need to look flat. And here we go. I think the camera could still be a little further out, but already those lasers are looking a lot better. Now to figure out how to rotate these hearts and add a bit of rumble and maybe lock the player so you can't go up and down off the platform in the wrong way. And now for something completely different. The Niagara system particles. Hit like, hit subscribe, get that chicken, and you'll be notified next time I come up with a new discovery in the Unreal Engine. But seriously though, this is a lot of fun tweaking. I've simply copied the particle system from the flag checkpoint system and I pasted it in here. The only tricky part is there's a particle location variable on the left. You copy the node, but the variable isn't actually in this blueprint yet, so you need to add that. And that's pretty straightforward too. Yeah, and then you just get to tweak the particles in yet another editor that I hadn't seen before. I think this is just the it's one of the daunting parts, but also one of the cool parts about Unreal Engine. It's like everything is here, everything you need. You don't need to step into different software, but there's just so many different screens, and it's sometimes you just lose track of where you are in the system. See, this is already so much better, having the heart rotate, and it was a pretty simple fix. Alright you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me talking about how we're putting together a little platforming block pushing game. And let's see if in the next month we can put a pin in it and have something playable. Don't know yet if it's going to be downloadable, if I can do that myself as well already, but you know, baby steps. See you next week.